You have 5 seconds. That's the rule. Drop food on the floor, scoop it up before the clock runs out, and it's clean. Well, actually, you have less than 1. And the clock was never the thing that mattered. Almost everyone plays this game. In one survey, 87% of people admitted they would eat food off the floor, and most of them trusted the 5-second rule to keep them safe. So let's ask the obvious question nobody actually asks. Why 5, not 3, not 10? Where did that number even come from? Nowhere. Nobody measured it. The number is folklore. The legend gets traced all the way back to Genghis Khan, and something people call the Khan rule. Food served at his table was supposedly so important that it stayed good on the floor for as long as the Khan said it did. Fast forward to the 1960s, and a cooking show gets blamed too. A famous chef drops a potato pancake on the stovetop, slides it back into the pan, and tells you it's fine. She never said 5 seconds, but the story stuck to her anyway. The very first time the rule shows up in print is a novel from 1995, where it's the 20-second rule. A movie in 2001 calls it the 10-second rule. 3 seconds, 5, 10, 20. Everyone is completely confident. Nobody agrees. That is your first clue that the clock is made up. So in 2003, somebody finally tests it. Not a professor. A high school intern named Jillian Clark, spending 6 weeks in a food science lab at the University of Illinois. She swabs floor tiles with E. coli, drops cookies and gummy bears on them, and watches the clock. The bacteria reach the food in under 5 seconds. Every single time. For proving the rule is, at best, wishful thinking, she wins an Ig Nobel Prize, the award for research that first makes you laugh and then makes you think. She also polled people, and the rule turned out to be everywhere. 70% of the women she asked, and more than half of the men, already knew it by name. We don't just follow this thing, we teach it. But she also found something strange. The actual floors around campus were surprisingly clean. Hold that thought. We're coming back to it. 2007, Clemson University, food scientist Paul Dawson, and this time it is not harmless E. coli. It's Salmonella. His team coats tile, wood, and carpet with it, then drops bologna and bread on top. The bacteria do not need 5 seconds. They transfer in under 1. And here is the part that should ruin your appetite. That Salmonella was still alive and infectious after sitting on the dry floor for 4 full weeks. 5 seconds of contact was enough to load a sandwich with anywhere from 150 to 8,000 bacteria. Under 1 second. Not 5. The deadline you were promised had already passed before your hand even started moving. Now, well, actually, here is where it gets interesting, because the rule is not 100% stupid. In 2014, a team at Aston University in England looked specifically at time. And time does do something. Moist food left on the floor for 30 seconds picked up as much as 10 times more bacteria than food grabbed at 3 seconds. So faster is technically a little cleaner. That is the grain of truth the whole rule is balancing on. And it is exactly why the myth refuses to die, because it feels like it works. But look closely at what that study is really saying. Even at 3 seconds, the food is already contaminated. Faster isn't clean. Faster is just less dirty. Which brings us to the study that finally settled it. 2016, Rutgers University, Professor Donald Schaffner, the big, careful, peer-reviewed one. 4 surfaces, 4 different foods, 4 contact times, starting at less than 1 second and going all the way up to 5 minutes. Thousands of measurements. The verdict: contamination happened at every single time interval, including the shortest one they could test. There is no safe window. There is no magic threshold where the food is clean, and then suddenly is not. Second one is already dirty. But the Rutgers team also found the thing that actually matters, and it was never the clock. Listen to how the professor put it. Bacteria don't have legs. They move with the moisture. The wetter your food is, the more bacteria climb aboard. A piece of watermelon dropped on the floor was the single filthiest thing they tested. A dry gummy candy picked up the least. Same floor. Same seconds. Wildly different results because of water, not time. So if it is not the clock, what actually decides whether your dropped food is safe? 3 things. And time is not one of them. First, moisture. Wet food is a magnet. Dry food barely picks anything up. A cracker and a watermelon slice do not live in the same universe of risk. Second, the surface, and this is the one that is going to bother you. The smooth, hard, clean-looking floors are the worst ones. Tile and stainless steel handed over somewhere between 48 and 70% of their bacteria. Carpet? Under 1%. The floor that looks the dirtiest is actually the safest, because all that fuzzy texture keeps the germs from making solid contact. Your spotless kitchen tile is the danger. The rug is fine. Third, and it is obvious the second you hear it, how dirty the floor already was. A floor with nothing living on it cannot contaminate anything, which is exactly why that intern, back in 2003, found the campus floors so clean. If there is nothing there, 5 seconds or 5 minutes, it makes no difference at all. This is also the real reason the rule seems to work. Most everyday floors are not crawling with anything dangerous. So most of the time, you drop a chip, pick it up, and nothing happens. The rule takes the credit. But it was never 5 seconds saving you. It was luck and a boring floor. The day that floor isn't boring, the day someone cut raw chicken on that same kitchen counter, the clock will not save you at all. So the 5-second rule is not wrong, because 5 seconds is too long. It's wrong because the floor does not own a stopwatch. It has a moisture level, a texture, and a history. And it decided whether your food was safe the instant it landed, not 5 seconds later. The honest version is a lot less catchy. Drop a dry cracker on the carpet in a clean room? Probably fine, and it always was. Drop a wet slice of watermelon on kitchen tile? It was contaminated before you even finished saying the word 5. The clock you have trusted your entire life was counting down a deadline that does not exist. So be honest with me down in the comments. What is the worst thing you have ever eaten off the floor and counted to 5 for? And now that you know it is really about the water and the wall-to-wall carpet, would you still? Honestly, once you know what actually matters, you can answer that in about 2 seconds, and the clock is not one of the inputs. So here's the version worth keeping. Forget 5. Ask 2 questions instead. What did I drop, and what did I drop it on? Question 1. The food. Dry or wet? A whole cracker, a chip, a cookie. A dry thing barely picks anything up, and it was almost always fine. Anything wet? Cut fruit? A slice of watermelon? Anything moist or saucy? Treat it as already gone. The water is the taxi. In the Rutgers test, a piece of watermelon dropped on tile picked up 97% of the bacteria sitting there in 5 seconds. 97. The wettest food on the hardest floor is basically a sponge. Question 2. The floor. And not how clean it looks. How it feels. Soft, fuzzy carpet hands over a tiny fraction of what is on it. Smooth, wipeable surfaces, tile, sealed wood, stainless steel. Give up most of it. So the shiny kitchen floor you would happily eat off is the most dangerous one in the house. And the rug you would never trust is the safe one. And here is the part the rule never mentions at all. It is not really about bacteria. It is about which bacteria. A clean, dry floor with nothing harmful living on it is fine at any speed. A floor where someone just cut raw chicken is dangerous at 0 seconds. The floor decides, not the stopwatch. So next time something hits the ground, do not count. Look, what did you drop and what did you drop it on? That is the only rule that ever worked. Tell me the worst floor you have ever gambled on down in the comments.